Welcome back to Ari's podcast, I guess you can call it. So, today we're going to be talking about the different acts of God in the different books of the New Testament. So, we're going to be talking about Genesis chapter 3 first, and to summarize it all up, I guess you can say, the serpent decides to lure the woman to the tree of knowledge, which God instructed her not to eat from, which is the first and only commandment that he gave. The eyes were open to things that were not supposed to be found out, and God forbids them from the garden, and the woman would bear kids, which were hurt brutally. I believe the overall message is probably you shall never disobey the message of God. Whatever you do, and God will see it, nor shall you ever lie to the God. I can apply this, I can relate because there has been times where I've disregarded or disobeyed signs of God, and and I can apply this by honoring and listening to the signs and the signs that I know he's providing for me because he only wants what's best for me. And God revealed himself through Genesis chapter 3 because he showed his people that he's in charge and that you should listen to him because he knows what's best for you. This is Revelation. Next we'll be talking about Genesis chapter 1. In this passage, it involves God making all of the earth, the living things and non-living things, the light and the dark and the night, all of God's creation except humans he created during this time period. The message is God shows his people and all of humanity the true beauty of his work. God wanted to make something for us to live in, I guess you can say. God made himself known through this passage, through his works, and through the beauty of his works, because he made everything in the perfect image that he wanted, and he wanted everyone to live in the perfect image that he created all things. I can really reflect on this because I'm grateful, and without the creation of God, it would never be any type of earth or planet, I guess you could say. I can apply being grateful for never taking anything for granted because there are people who don't have the things I have, I guess you can say. This is revelation in my life because I love giving back. If I don't use something, I give it to people that need it more than me. Or just recently, I did a food drive, and me and my family picked out different homeless shelters, and for Thanksgiving, we gave a lot of things away. A lot. Next, we're talking about Samuel chapter 1. The overall summary would be a man named Elikiel had 2 wives. One could bear a child while the other couldn't. So Hannah prayed and vowed to God if he gives her a son, she'll return him back in his service. The overall message, I believe, is when you pray to God, he will always be there to listen, and he allowed Hannah to bear a son, bear a child. And he made himself known in this passage through the birth of Samuel, because she wasn't able to bear children, and she prayed to him, and he delivered exactly what she wanted, and she did exactly what she said, was returned him back in service. When I pray, and ask God for something, he typically comes through and typically gives me or, help me through whatever I'm going through. And I can apply this act of gratefulness by not going to God only when I'm in need and only when I need something, because typically that's what human does, because we're always self versus everyone else and others, I guess you can say. And this revelation in my life, it's because I'm working on not only going to God when I need him, but in other times of need of him as well. So the second to last one is Psalms 22. And it's about a man named David who cried to God to save him from taunts and torments he was having during the night and his enemies. And in the last few verses, he thanked God for rescuing him. He thanked him for letting him go through the different obstacles he went through to be where he is. God made himself known by helping David and by putting David through different obstacles at different times, because everything God did for him, it was for David's own benefit. I can relate to this passage because sometimes I ignore God when I know things are not supposed to be, and I still do it. And it's not good, but sometimes I do, and I have to repent for that. I will listen to God because I know he has my best interest at heart, and the signs and the different things that happen to me, I know it happens for a reason and because he wants it to happen. This revelation, I guess, in my life, because I am working on listening, I am working on bettering myself, and I'm working on being open and being open-hearted to God. The last one is in Kings chapter 17 through 18, I believe, and this is the book about Elijah. So Elijah lived in Israel where many kings were very evil. God was troubled by how his people were being treated, so he sent Prophet Elijah to deliver them from their corrupt ways. God's people continued to act accordingly. He was very displeased, therefore he sent a flood. But the message here was God really was not playing with his people. He was tired of them ruining the land. He was tired of them disobeying his rules. So he showed them who was boss. That was the overall message. He wanted to restore his land. God made himself known through the flood, because he told his people if they didn't get it together, then he was going to send this great flood, and that's exactly what he did. When we're reflecting on this passage, I see where God is coming from when he says his people are letting him down, because he gives them everything they would ever need, and the things that they want and they don't need, he still gives it to them. So I can avoid this type of behavior just by praying and asking God to guide me, because I know that I need guidance. And this is the revelation of my life, because I have to be open to guidance. I have to be open to leadership, and I have to be open to other people's opinions. So that's the end of my little podcast, and I'll see you guys later.